Let me get on with it. Hello, I'm back. I'm back with the boys. Yes, I know this was supposed to be our actual panel for match previews and match reactions, but I am back. I was been away and I apologize, but I'm very happy to be back with the boys. I did watch the United games while away, so I'm all up to speed. And yeah, we're going to be talking about Brighton yet again. We played them in the last few days. Won barely, arguably didn't deserve to win, but at the end of the day, we take what we can get. Otherwise, I would have been fuming. Definitely, I would have drowned myself. I would have drowned myself in the ocean. But anyways, gentlemen, before we get into it, how are you all? What's up, Moloto? Moloto, how are you first?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, yeah, I think we didn't play particularly well against Brighton, but that win at the end was ecstatic. So now I'm over the moon, and I'm waiting to see if there's more to come for this team.
Yeah, I think we all are. Clayton, how are you feeling?
I'm a bit nervous about the replay, in all honesty. Not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, actually,
Excited
yeah,
we won the first one, but nervous for the replay.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, I was thinking the same thing. I'm not feeling good about it, if I'm honest with you guys.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, I think that, we just scraped over the line with our main first team. And now I think because OLE will play more of a rotated, blended, and second team, I just wonder how Brighton play. I mean, Brighton could play their reserves, and our reserves could be better than this. But like we've seen with our second team, and with our general squad depth as a whole, they are just awful. This team is awful. But to analyze it, I think it'll be quite similar to the first game we played against them. I think Brighton will look at United our weakness. I'm sure they will want definite revenge. I know that if I was a Brighton player or fan, I would really feel hard done by. So I think they'll be up for it. I think they'll definitely want to come and beat us, probably smash us. They probably arguably deserve to win. But football is a cruel sport. And yeah, we'll start with Moloto. Your general thoughts before going into this Brighton game.
Yeah, no, I remember once upon a time in football, there was a thing like if you won the game in the league and you play the team again in the cup game, you lose that game. So I hope we're not a victim of that. But it's going to be interesting because I think if Brighton play their first team and we play our second team, we might be in trouble because they really know how to play football. And I mean, our first team struggled. Yes, there's the whole fitness thing, but they struggled. And I just don't have faith in the Mattas and the Galas of this world to beat Brighton when they play the first team. I'm not sure if they will because I feel like everybody's prioritizing the Premier League. So I think they will try shuffle as well. But what I can say, it will be a very difficult game for us.
Yeah. Definitely. Clayton, what are your general thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is just going to be a really tough game, regardless of the team selection. Brighton will probably play close to a full first team. I wouldn't be surprised at that. Slight rotations, nothing serious, and I think they're going to take the game overall.
Do you think they can take the game?
At this rate, yeah, I think so. After their showing in the week, I definitely think so.
Yeah,
I really hope not. Like,
I hope
there
not,
is
I
this,
think so,
there's a scenario like we were saying before the Luton game, which didn't happen, is where OLE does actually play the first team because we do need the minutes. And he keeps coming out of press conferences, the lads aren't fit, but then he's not playing them when he gets the opportunity. So I just don't get it. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I hear the whole play them obviously until they match fit, which is by no means, and we will get into our predicted lineups for this game later on. But yeah, I think with the whole fitness thing, it's one thing being not fit because you overly played, and there's one thing being not fit because you haven't played. So to not play players now to get fitness is a bit weird. You actually should play them. They do need to get back up to speed. They had a little bit of a break. We didn't even play that first week. Everyone else played. So teams were sharper than us. But now I think the sharpness will come in. I think this will be a very interesting game. And, I just read on United's website, just general, they blogged of early team news. OLE just said that, you wouldn't be surprised, basically, if Maguire led the team out again. No surprises there. Maguire plays every single game. They said that, because Igalo and Mata got completely left out of the squad in the previous game against Brighton, that could be a clue there. So potentially we might see Igalo and Mata. So yeah, what are you guys thoughts? And just also Pereira, people like Andreas Pereira, Jesse Lingard, Igalo's Matas. Our bench basically, our second team. Pereira looks like he's gone. I think Fabrizio confirmed that he's gone to Lyon on loan with the option to buy.
Lazio.
Yeah, and so that's one of them. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Igalo and Mata, players like Lingard going into that? What do you expect of them if they do start? We'll start with Malota.
Not much, to be honest. I won't lie to you. Look, I've praised Igalo here and there, but like after what he showed against Luton, it was just not good enough. And it's very worrying because what happens when Martial gets injured? Igalo starts for us in the league. That's a frightening thought, to be honest. So he looks like he has the makings and the attributes of a decent striker, but then he just didn't show it in that game. So maybe in that instance, it's important for him to play this game and have some numbers. But yeah, there's the whole fitness thing as well. Matt is a good player, but age is not really playing on his side. And I just don't think our bench is good enough, really. Pereira, I was not happy with him. I'm not happy with him leaving, to be honest, because I feel like I know Lingard has been showing some promise over the last few games, but I feel like Pereira's younger. So maybe there's room for growth there. So I would have rather, and I know it's controversial because Lingard's been playing well, but I'd rather take Pereira really and sell Lingard and make more money.
Well, I think that's a very unpopular opinion these days about keeping Pereira over Lingard. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, Pereira is younger. But at the end of the day, I still, if it was up to me, I'd get them both out and, look for a replacement or try to bring someone else in. But yeah, with regards to Igalo, I mean, it's not how he was when he first came. Us fans, are susceptible of the whole fairy tale thing. He came in, he actually outperformed what we expected. He started getting goals. Then the big drop-off happened. It looks completely unfit. It just looks like he can't keep up. And yeah, that's just the way it is with Igalo. I mean, you can't really expect much more from a player like Igalo, and that's the problem, with bad recruitment. And United, in the past, have had horrible recruitment. Bar your Brunos, your Maguire. Even some would say now Maguire, he looks like a bad signing. Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka has a slight drop-off. So bad recruitment all around. But yeah, Clayton, also, what are your thoughts on just basically players like the Igalo, Mata, Maguire starting again, Lingard? What do you think?
I largely agree with Retta here. That it's hard not to say that they're just not good enough. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them haven't shown any promise for a while now. Mata's just on the decline. Igalo's also at that age where he's declining. He may be a passionate United fan, but he hasn't shown those performances so far. But he has admittedly only played one game this season, but he hasn't shown what the quality that we used to see from a United player and from him last season as well.
Yeah.
And Andreas Pereira, I'm glad he's getting shipped out. He hasn't shown that much. He's shown that he has some decent potential, but it feels like he just doesn't want to realize his actual potential, if that makes sense. It just feels like he's not actually trying to work on it. He's just happy where he is. So I think it's a good idea to get him out.
I feel like
at the very least on loan. Yeah.
I feel like it's hard for players at United. I feel like the pressure of being at the biggest club in the world is very hard because you see that with players like Smalling, who looked crap, but then he was causing penalties left, right, and centre when he was at United. And you leave, and he's one of the best defenders in Europe. So I feel like sometimes it's good for these players being shipped out, and maybe a loan would have been better, so he can develop somewhere else and then come back.
Well, Andreas is a loan with an option to buy at the end of the day, so he could come back.
Is it a loan?
We see fit.
Yeah, it's a loan.
Yeah, it's a loan with an option to buy.
Oh, okay,
So
that's great.
that's nothing said yet.
I thought we're selling.
Yeah. So a big talking point about United, I think, is the lack of ambition at the club itself. I think when the club itself lacks that ambition to fight for titles constantly, and you just go on a loan move to Roma per se, who actually wants to fight for the league, wants to fight for a Champions League spot, you just find that drive again. Because United are just renowned as European champions, and it feels like we're not okay with just having that as a previous title, and we don't want to push forward anymore. The club's just stagnated, and you can see it in the players' personalities.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard, he stayed the same since he was 20 years old, basically, until now. Andreas Pereira has shown no promise of improvement. It's ridiculous when people have so much talent within them, but it just doesn't feel like it's coming out with United anymore. It feels like we're just stagnating all around besides our first team. Everything past our first team has just stagnated so hard in this club, and it needs to change.
Definitely. I think lots of United fans would agree with that. That things do have to change. But what I would also say is that just looking at this whole season in general, that obviously the league looks very hard. Everton looks so good. Even teams like Leeds look good. Arsenal, they played Liverpool yesterday.
Villa's looking good again.
Yeah, but Villa, they'll be good, but I'm sure they'll soon drop off again.
Yeah,
I'm talking more about the top 8 race. Villa, they look good for Villas, but like our direct competitors, Arsenal.
I think for us, they could still give us a run though at the end of the day. Well, I think they'll give us a run for the money. It's scary when the whole league has improved around you so visibly, and you've just kind of got on one side.
Exactly. But that's my point that I was getting to.
Scary.
Right? So at the end of the day, when you look at the league, it's becoming hard, and I think the only way we could judge United's season is the points. But I'm trying to relate to this Brighton game. I think if we had more points than we did last season, that's a good season. I think 70+ points, that's a good season. But when it comes to the cup competitions, obviously last season we made semi-finals. But now I was going to say that Oli, I think he needs to win a trophy this season. But specifically with the cup game tomorrow, the Carabao Cup, EFL Cup, how would you guys feel if we actually played our second team tomorrow, got knocked out? Do you think it would be better for us? Do you guys want to win the competition? How would you go? Would you go very strong? Would you go blended team, completely second team? How would you guys approach it? We'll start with Moloto.
Yeah, no, before I get there, I want to go to the whole signings thing. Look, I know we haven't signed, but I still do think we're a decent enough team to make top 4. And I say that because if you think of last season, we didn't have Bruno for most of it. So when we were struggling, we had no Bruno. So in that sense, we have improved from there. And yes, there is a lack of ambition at the club. And that sucks as United fans because we aspire to be champions. So that has to come right. But I still do have hope that we can make top 4. I hope I don't get that completely wrong, but I still do hope. In terms of the cup games, I don't know. I would like to win one. I'd like to win a Carabao Cup, FA Cup. I think it'll be good for the boys. But at the same time, you have these players on high wages sitting on the bench. And you could say that, playing our second team in the cup games and playing our first team in the other games is good for everyone because these players get more game time and they're not just sitting on the bench on ridiculous wages. And there's more rest for players like Maguire to play in the league and maybe we can be more progressive in the league. So, to be honest, I'd play the second team.
Full second team.
Maybe Pogba. Maybe because of the situation right now.
We'll get into the predict 11, but you would play basically majority second team. You wouldn't blend it 50-50.
Majority second team. Maybe a few first team players, but majority second team.
Yeah, I get. I just don't think that we could win with our second team. I think they're that bad.
Yeah.
But we will just have to see. And then before I go into Clayton's thoughts, not for you specifically, because you said you'll play the second team. If you did play your second team and we did lose, how would you feel?
Look, I don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest. I think in context of what's going on right now, there will be an uproar because there's already so much negativity. But I feel like if you are playing a second team, okay, it is a big deal. But I feel like it's something you can expect with the quality of our second team. And for me, I just feel like players like Maguire can't be playing game in, game out like they did last season. So that would be the purpose of me playing the second team.
Interesting. Okay, Clayton, second team, first team, blended. How would you approach it? And then would you be happy? Would you be like, what your reaction would be if we had to get knocked out?
Yeah, so if I was in charge of picking this team, it's hard to. If we're going in to win it, which we should be with every game, we should be playing something close to a first team. But that isn't fair on the first team players. It isn't fair on the people sitting on the bench. So we need to have some kind of blended team for sure. If we're going in with the mentality to win it, if we're going with the mentality to just say whatever happens, go full second team, and just get match fitness up. Let's prioritize the league. Let's prioritize other things. If that's the mentality, then sure, go with the second team. Give maybe Pogba some extra minutes for the match fitness. People who just very much are lacking it right now, just give them a bit more game time, and let them go out and do whatever.
Yeah.
I know at the end of the day it's a cup and it's important to prioritize cups.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the players on the bench. Yes, I know we know who those players are and we know how they perform, so we doubt them. But when you look at the names, you think they should be good enough to be beating a team like Brighton, to be honest. So maybe we should get in the spirit of, in these cups, like Liverpool, sticking to a second team, having a second team shape, and saying, you guys go and do it and get to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. I don't know, maybe that will inspire them to play better.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, we've said all those things. I think we can discuss it more with our predicted 11. So let's get into the predicted 11. Starting with goalkeeper, I think for me it should be no doubt that it's Dean Henderson. I think against Luton Town he performed amazingly. He kept his concentration for that one crucial save, and yeah, Dean Henderson is a quality goalkeeper, and I think in these type of games is where he should guarantee his game time. So yeah, I'll start Dean Henderson. You guys start with we'll go with Moloto then Clayton. So.
Yeah, no, there's no question around it. It's definitely going to be Dean Henderson. I'd be extremely surprised if it's not. It just makes sense.
The only competition in my eyes is potentially Romero. If he's come back, he may get a game here or there, but it should be Henderson overall.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt to that. Right back is a weird one. Personally, I would play Wan-Bissaka still. I think that he is one of those players who needs a little bit more game time to get his match fitness up. I think he has been quiet in the last weekend. I don't think he's been horrible, but I think he has been, not the amazing Wan-Bissaka that we know and we've seen at the earlier stages of his career. So yeah, I'd play Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You guys?
Yeah, no. For the purpose of getting him match fit, if it was just a regular game and fitness up to standard, I'd like to see Williams play there, because there's this talk of Williams playing on the right and being better there, but he's never actually played there. Or if he has, I don't remember. So I think going forward, I'd like to see that, but I do think it should be Wan-Bissaka for this one.
Clayton?
Well, I don't think Aaron should play the full game, though. That's the only issue I have with that. I think Aaron needs a bit of a rest as well. I don't think we can give him a full 90. So purely for that reason, I think we start Fosu and then we bring on Aaron at like halftime or something like we did before.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's really, Fosu is out. Fosu for me should be one of our backup right backs. Evidently we've got a lot of depth in the right back. Well, I say depth. Well, more than left back. They might not be the best depth, but we have depth.
Yeah, we have
depth. Yeah, and going into the centre back pairing for me, I'd probably say Maguire and Bailly. I would like to see Bailly play because, again, same with Dean Henderson, Luton Town Cup game, he played very well, and just like I said, I would like to see more of Bailly this season. So yeah.
Yeah, in a fantasy world, it's Bailly and Mengi, and we get to see him play.
Yeah.
But this is Manchester United managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so it's going to be Maguire and Bailly. And it'll be good for Bailly for minutes, sure, but Maguire, yes, it goes back to the whole fitness thing. Sure, maybe in this instant it's okay, but then we know Ole plays in game out, and it's just not on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not on.
Like, if it was me, I would agree. I'd probably like to see Mengi and Bailly, but we know Maguire's.
Yeah. I fully agree with you guys, but it's Maguire's starting, no doubt, and then Lindelof's probably going to get his break again. It's going to be Bailly. Let's just put it that way. I don't see another way it's going to go around.
Yeah,
I think Slabhead and Mengi won't work, but Slabhead and Mengi. I want to surprise him.
Yeah, bench Maguire. Let's see if he'll do it. Doubt it.
Yeah,
I really doubt it.
I don't see
I
it
would probably say
happening,
95% Maguire is probably going to play. Unless he goes and, kicks his leg against his kitchen counter today and gets injured or something. But he'll probably play.
Yes.
Left back is an interesting one because left back is an interesting one because Williams is the backup left back. We don't have someone like Tellers in yet, but for me, now that's why I would like to see Fosu. I think Fosu is a right back, but I think he's at the end of the day he's a better left back than Brandon Williams. I think Williams is. I think I don't know. There's something wrong with Williams at the moment, and personally, like I said, I think I'm kind of done with him at left back. I would like to see him at right back. So for me personally, I would probably say Fosu at left back.
Yeah, no. From when I've seen him play there, I think he is better at left back than at right back, which is a Fosu Mensah. So I think I'd also like to see that, but I think it will be Williams because I think it's Ole's replacement for left back at the moment, and I think he might try protect Shaw for the Tottenham game. So yeah, Williams.
Yeah.
I think there could be a potential shot for Ethan Laird to make an appearance. But my heart says Williams is going to play. I don't think anything else is going to happen. But Laird may have a shot, though.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I mean, if Ethan Laird did have to play, I would say it's kind of a tricky game because, Brighton isn't like a championship team or a lower division team that like Luton Town would play even a weaker team than are probably our best second team on paper. So yeah, if that could be an interesting one. And then the real interesting one is our midfield for this game. So personally, if I had to pick our midfield, I'm picking Paul Pogba because I think he needs match fitness. I don't think Paul Pogba is 100% in terms of like his game. I don't think he's like injured or anything. I just think that his performances have been awful, and I think this could be a game where Paul Pogba could, just get some more minutes into the tank, maybe stretch the legs, hopefully get a better performance, and just because the Paul Pogba in the last few weeks, I haven't been on the show with you guys because everyone knows I'm Paul Pogba's biggest fans on the show, and those performances it was horrible to take on as a Paul Pogba fan. I couldn't defend it. That was awful. Deserved all those bench times. So yeah, I'd play Paul Pogba. I'd like to see Fred, and I would like to see Van der Beek instead of Bruno. So that would be my midfield. I'd like to see Fred in the Matic role, Pogba in his normal role, and Van der Beek in the Bruno role.
Nah, I agree with Pogba. I think over the past few weeks, it seemed like it's the Pogba of old again, where it seems like he doesn't know where he's playing, position's not very clear, and the sharpness just isn't there. So he does need some matches. So I think if he plays, there's a very, very big chance. If he plays and he's up to standard, there's a very, very big chance to be Brighton. So that adds to the incentive as well. So I'd like for him to play. Fred, definitely. I feel like he was robbed the first game. It should have been him and not McTominay. And I think he's definitely better than McTominay in that holding position. So I'd like to see Fred. And Matt has been playing. He's been outstanding. So I guess if anyone deserves a rest, it's him. And we play him against Tottenham on the weekend. And Van der Beek, I don't know. He's brilliant, but I think I'd like to see just Lingard. I think I'd like to see him get rewarded for his performance last week. And yeah, it's a weird midfield, Lingard and Pogba. I don't think it's happened much, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I don't even think Oli likes Lingard in the midfield. We always see him always on the wing personally. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, I was going to predict Lingard, just not probably there. Clayton, what are your midfield prediction?
I would personally start Pogba, but I don't think Oli will, in all honesty. I think he gets the bench, and I think we start Fred, McTominay, and Van der Beek.
Oh no.
Yeah, no. I think that's what we're going to start. Not going to lie.
It does.
That sounds like we lost the game already. If that midfield starts, I think we lose the game. I honestly think we're going to lose that game. If that's the midfield that goes out and starts against Brighton, because oh my goodness, Fred and McTominay is just a disaster.
It's so funny because rewind a few months back, that midfield pair of Fred and McTominay was doing things against Man City. So
we didn't even have another midfield. So yeah. But yeah, if it does happen, touch wood. Prove me wrong. By all means, prove me wrong. Show me that midfield can work, whatever. But that's interesting.
I feel like McTominay has been struggling ever since he came back, and it feels like the whole position thing, him not knowing what his position is, has gotten him much worse. So I don't know what his future holds, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a strange one with McTominay. Yeah, it's very interesting. The conversation. Yeah, Ollie's favorite is towards McTominay over Fred. So in fact, at the end of the day, it could be like a mixture between all of our predictors. It could be Pogba, McTominay, and Van der Beek. That could be the midfield that Ollie picks. That sounds very realistic, actually. But yeah, the front three for me is very interesting because I would play Lingard. I'd play Martial. The reason why I play Martial, same reasons for Pogba. I don't think we have seen the best of Martial. I don't think he's been as active in the last few games he has played. And I think it's been a while since Martial has even got a goal. So I think a goal in the cup game others could do him wonders heading towards Spurs. And Martial would love to put in a performance against Jose Mourinho for what he's done to him. So yeah, I'm sure Martial will be up for that game. And yeah, personally, I'd just start Martial. Yeah, I don't rate Igalo. I don't think he could play. I know it's the whole fitness thing. If he does play, if he never plays, he'll never get fit. But for me, my main striker he's struggling at the moment. So I would play Martial. And then on the right, I think it'll be Mata. I think it'll be Mata on the right. So yeah, I was gonna say the thing with Daniel James also now, left out of the squad. There's rumors of him going on loan out to Leeds. Who knows what's gonna happen with Daniel James as well. So, but yeah, that's my front three prediction.
Yeah, and I don't see us letting go of Daniel James after getting him last season. So I think, to be honest, those are just rumors. But yeah, I think I agree with that front three. I think Daniel James on the left, definitely. I think he's better that side. As much as he plays more on the right, I do think he's slightly better on the left. Yeah, I do think Martial, because I feel like last season, even in the cup games, he seemed to prefer Martial over Igalo. So I think he'll go with Martial, get him that match sharpness. And yeah, Mata on the right in these type of games is a popular thing. So I think we'll see that as well.
So my only thing with Dan James is I'd actually like to see him go Leeds. I think Bielsa could probably get the best out of him.
I was thinking
a lot
the same
we
thing,
could
yeah.
get. I think we could see a much improved Dan James if he switches over to Leeds. He will actually play that expansive football. He will actually be able to use his pace.
I think,
utilize
yeah.
some kind
Yeah,
of
I was
skill.
going to say,
think
sorry
he'd
to
be
cut you
useful.
off, Clay, but I was going to say that sorry to cut you off because as soon as you mentioned Marcelo Bielsa, I get too excited because I love that guy.
Yes.
But yeah, I think if there ever is a coach that could turn Daniel James into something or coach him, because I don't think Oli is that coach. I don't think he's there yet. I'm not saying he can't be, he can be, but at the moment, he's not the guy who can do it. So I think if Daniel James did have to go out on loan at Leeds, oh my goodness, I think Marcelo Bielsa will turn him into a real quality, well, high quality, top quality.
And that's true. But I think the question is, can we afford to let go of Daniel James? I think that's the problem. I do think if you can leave and
Yes,
improve,
I think we can.
you think so? The thing is, who comes on for Rashford then? We don't have that many bench options.
Lingard.
Yeah, at the moment, I think
Lingard
Lingard
comes.
comes.
Yeah,
Lingard
comes.
but I feel like
comes on as well.
I feel like Ole cherishes his options, to be honest. And I feel like he
Yeah,
appreciates this Lingard, not just Lingard. He appreciates Daniel James, to be honest. So I just don't see it happening. But if it did happen and he improved, I'd love that because that means we get a better player back. But I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. Well, I hope. I
think that
personally
would
hope it's
definitely
gonna
help
happen.
Dan James.
Yeah, Clay. You're-
Continue.
Sorry?
Okay, sure. No, we're just interrupting each other. That's all it is.
No, Clay, yeah.
One thing that'll help Dan James a lot is teams won't play that low block against Leeds all the time if he does go there. Whether it be a permanent deal, whether it be a loan deal, he'll actually be able to show what he's made of instead of just sitting there and just getting closed down game in, game out because he plays for United. It's going to be a major difference because that's where he thrives at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like we see that
quick.
at Wales. He looks much better player when he plays for Wales.
Yeah. There's a player in Dan James, but just who can bring it out.
Yes.
But yeah, Clay, your predicted front three.
I think it'll come down to probably Lingard starting again. I would love to see Martial. I would very much like to see him. He needs that goal. He just needs that one goal.
Yeah,
That little confidence boost. He needs that, and yeah, it'll be perfect. And I think Matza probably starts on the right as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think
special.
with that front three, I wouldn't. It's not the perfect front three, obviously, but I wouldn't mind it. If I see Lingard, Martial, and Mata. I mean, it is what it is. There really is not much else in our United team unless we bring up someone, or if we start one of our first teamers, or like we said, we see a Daniel James again, which could happen, but I doubt it. Heck, Oli, speaking of favourites, Oli always loves Marcus Rashford. Wouldn't even shock me if Rashford somehow started this game because he's buzzing of confidence and stuff. Yeah, so that's just my thoughts. And just gonna get into it. What are you guys' score prediction? Personally, I think, I don't know if it's the team that I predicted that starts, I think United could edge a 2-1 win. But if he plays the full second team like McTominay, Fred, if he plays that midfield, McTominay, Fred, and Van de Beek, I will lose it.
Yeah, no, it's difficult and there's so many variables. I mean, like, if he plays the second team like he played against Luton, sometimes it looks like they're disjointed into the shape, they're a bit sluggish, they can't create a lot of chances, which is very frustrating. And if Brighton's going to play that first team, we're in trouble. So, I don't know, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I think Brighton will also rest because the league is slightly more important. And yeah, I think they'll have a bit more quality than Brighton's second team, if you want to call it the second team. So I'm going to say 2-1 United.
I think that there could be a big upset here. I'm not going to be surprised if it happens. And my gut just says 2-1 the other way, guys.
I don't think I'd be
surprised.
surprised. Yeah. I don't think I'd be surprised. I don't, and like to answer my own question on earlier at the show, if we had to get knocked out of the cup, I don't know how to feel. Like, you know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm fuming obviously because I want to win the cup, and you know, United never. If you're a United fan, you never want to lose any game. But then again, I'm thinking like, what do I expect with that
Yeah,
second
like
team? I
if
don't really
yeah,
like
exactly.
we've seen how
Exactly.
bad the second team
No.
is. So.
If it's because you play the
Exactly.
second team, like what more can Oli do? I think then the frustration has to be put to people making the transfers and
Yep.
a little bit more pressure on them. But there's only so much Oli can do with that team, especially if Brighton plays their first team. If Brighton plays their first team, I do agree with Clayton. I think we will lose this game.
Yeah, and I think everything always links back upstairs to the board, the owners, just the way our club is run. Everything always links back up there. We know it's not good enough. Changes are needed. Will it ever happen? Probably not. You know, it's not nice being a United fan at the end of the day. It used to be, not anymore. Our club is run like, I don't know. I don't even want to swear because it's just not good, really. But yeah, at the end of the day, we
Waste of
always want
energy.
United. Yeah, we just want United to win. So let's hope the boys can spin a positive out of tomorrow's game. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I'm finally home. I get to watch it. I don't have to stand in a corner of my little phone for signal, so I can watch a United game and then be depressed because we drew or lost. You know, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, that has been all from myself, Malota, and Clayton. Thank you all for watching. If you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. Leave a like, leave a comment below of what your thoughts are, your score predictions, predicted 11s, and just, you know, your general thoughts going into this Brighton game, or any other opinions you want to get feedback on. And yeah, until the next one, we'll check